Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. I thought I'd do another live one, as it were. I don't know what to call it, video one, whatever you want to call it. So this will be going out on YouTube, and the audio version will be going out on the podcast on Anchor FM, which is under the English Poet. And it's also on, well, it's meant to be on other things like Spotify and Google Cast and Apple Cast, or whatever they're called, and all those different things. Which you can check out on Anchor FM if you really want to get the podcast, because usually I make the podcast first before the YouTube. So last night I was thinking about, and I know I've mentioned this previously, this idea of, well, while I was lying there thinking about, when babies are born, we've been having a conversation with my wife about what is taught, what is learned, and what is inherent, or nature versus nurture, whatever you want to call it. The things like eating and breathing, and then I was, I gave my example of, like, if you put the baby in the woods, would it learn to communicate? Would it speak English? All the things. So to try and differentiate between what is essentially us and what is not us, as it were. And then I was thinking about, all the things, say, like, I like to watch Doctor Who. Now, I didn't create Doctor Who. Doctor Who's nothing about me. Lots of people like Doctor Who. So is it actually part of me, or is it something that is, because it's around me, I've taken that up, I've adopted that? The same with English, the same with all these things. It made me start to think about, am I just, when we're babies, we are a blank sheet, as well. Yes, we know how to cry, we know how to eat, we know how to breathe, we know certain things that are, like a car, there's certain mechanics that happen all by itself, or a program within the brain. Some people argue that there are stuff that's passed through DNA. I don't know if that's been proven or not. So, I was thinking that, so we're born effectively blank sheets. And how did I become me? Am I me because of the me inside me when I was a baby that is there, or has it been overwritten by all the things that are around me that I've adopted? Now I was thinking about a computer and how it's written with different operating systems, and how you can have different programs on it. Not that I believe in this being AI, not AI. I know they keep talking about AI these days. Artificial reality, or whatever you want to call VR, or whatever term you want to use, that people believe in, that this is a program, that we're being we're not real in that sense. I don't mean it like that. I mean trying to differentiate between what I've been taught and what is me. Is it? And then I was thinking about the Borgs in Star Trek: The Next Generation for some reason. I think because the word assimilate came into my mind, that they assimilate, and other things where they, like a chameleon changes its colours to meet the surroundings. Is that all I've been doing? As I've been growing up, I've been watching television, I've been listening to people, I have a view of the world, like the history of this world, that I've been taught. I've never experienced it. I've, through nursery rhymes and all these other things, I have a paradigm that I live within, a reality that has been created around me, like a person creates, an object out of clay. Am I like that? So are we, when we talk about individuality and identity, is there such a concept of that? Remembering that all words are invented, all concepts are invented by man. It's all been made up generations ago, and it's been evolved through time, and now we've forgotten about those beginnings, that everything was made up, as it were. So we don't even know whether these concepts that we have are even valid or true. We just believe in this idea of, I have an identity, or there is such a thing as truth. But are these concepts, are they actually fallible, or are they true? Do I have an identity, or is it just one I've adopted throughout time? If there's 100 of us and we all experience exactly the same things, would we be exactly the same? Well, I suppose the answer, even though I don't even have any evidence to provide with it, I would probably say no, because we all live in the same country. But we all have different parents, and we all have different when we're born, do we have all different intelligences and stuff, or is that something to do with neglect in parenting and schooling? that makes that? Are we all exactly the same? I don't know whether anyone's ever been able to test that. Like, how do you test a baby's intelligence before parents and schooling and government and state get involved in these things? There's a lot of assumptions that we're going on when we think about ourselves. So I sort of ended up thinking about, so are we just, there is nothing special, as it were, about us in the way that, me, Horace Maguire, this is me. Is it me, or is this all the things that have come and molded me? So what's the real me, as it were? Do you know what I'm trying to say? I know it sounds a bit left field, or it sounds a bit wacky, but I don't know, I guess it's just this journey I've been going through, this pursuit of truth, as it were, through conspiracy, through flat earth, through truth and reality and all this kind of stuff, that now I'm starting to question everything, including who I really am. Would the real me please stand out, as it were? Maybe we are just all these, all these assimilations that we go through time and life make us the person that we are. So therefore, my problem with that is then that means that everything that's around us is shaping us, is not actually me, as it were. I am making some choices because, like, I might like Doctor Who, but I don't like Star Trek. But, most of everything that I do is based on learning these things and becoming these things, as it were. I've become an Englishman. I've become someone who speaks English. I've become someone who likes Doctor Who. I've become someone rather than actually I am someone. Does this make any sense? I know I've tried to talk about this thing before, and it is quite confusing, and just to try and, I think I'm sort of coming around to the idea that when we're baby, but the thing is, I have twins and I see their personalities. They do have different personalities, but then again, I don't know, are those personalities actually part of them, or are those personalities that they've picked up from observing my wife and me, my other daughter Michelle, whether they've found them through seeing things when they've been going through town, or GPs, or doctors, or the television, or the nursery rhymes, or the games they play. I can't pinpoint these moments, because when they were born, they just cried and they wanted to eat. That was it. So these other things have come later on, since they've been exposed to the world around them. But then, it doesn't make any difference. Does it make a difference that we are essentially shaped? Well, yes, it does, because if that is the case, that I am not actually me, as it were, that anyone, depending on my time and location, I could be a completely different person. Like I've mentioned this before, if I was in a jungle, I would still be me, but I'd be different. I wouldn't speak English. I'd be rooting around. I'd maybe be on all fours. If I was born in, say, North Korea, Michael Palin's North Korea, I'd be like, hail to the party and all that. If I was born in Germany in the 40s, I might be a Nazi. So wait a minute, they're completely different versions of me. So how is that possible? Which is me? So is me just the person that I create myself to be, based on all the stuff around me? But the thing is, all the stuff around me is all constructed. So that's the problem. Anyway, I hope I've confused you as much as I confused me. I would love to hear your input. Or you can make videos on your own channels, and I would just, one day I need to do a live when I've got time and I don't have the twins, and I actually have some time that I can actually do a live properly and discuss this with other YouTubers, truthers, flat earthers, whatever you want to call ourselves, so that I can get ideas from other people. And usually, like, when you get that, that's when you can come to some more solutions, because otherwise this way I'm just talking to myself effectively, aren't I? So I'm never going to get anything back than what actually comes out of me. Anyway, that's all. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.